Chapter 33 New York Goes to War. The first shot fired by the secessionists on Fort Sumter cleared the air as if by magic. New York had had too much of a hand in shaping the Union to be other than patriotic at heart. Never before had there been such a mass meeting as now assembled in Union Square. It was led by John Dix, Hamilton Fish, ex-Mayor Havemeyer, and Moses Grinell, and voted on the details of providing more money and soldiers than Lincoln had demanded. 35 merchants gave equal sums to fit out the 7th Regiment for active service. The departure of the 7th for the front was made a triumphal procession through crowded streets where the cheering never ceased for an instant. It was worth a life, that march, wrote one of the boys. We knew that our great city was with us as one man, utterly united in the cause we were marching to sustain. They were the first body of New York state troops to reach Washington, and soon after went Brooklyn's famous Fighting 14th. During the years that followed, New York saw its trim clipper ships driven from the seas and its steam lines pass into the registry of Great Britain. The members of the Stock Exchange, foreseeing a possibility of speculating in gold, pledged themselves against it. But the profits were high in other forms of commerce. New York gained rather than lost in wealth. The city gave generously of both wealth and men to the Union cause, nor did organization and invention lag. The Union League Club was founded in 1862 to aid recruiting, and the Monitor, a new model ironclad invented by John Erickson, was launched at Greenpoint, Long Island. In 1863, the same year that the National Bank Act made New York a money reservoir for the government, all available troops were sent from the city to the front, leaving a lawless element in control. This unfortunate state of affairs, coupled with the passage of the Draft Act on July 13th, produced the most terrible uprising in the city's history. Since it permitted men to purchase exemption from military service, the Draft Act was prejudicial to the poor, and the fury of the vicious element was at once directed against the innocent Negroes in the city. For 4 days the rioting went on. Over $1 million worth of property was destroyed, and 1,200 lives were lost. With the aid of volunteers from Brooklyn, the local police gained control by the time the soldiers were rushed back to the city's defense. Later, a public fund was provided to purchase exemption for those who were unable to care for their dependents. On the 12th day of April, 1865, following the surrender of Lee at Appomattox, 75 Brooklyn citizens made a joyous pilgrimage to Fort Sumter to hoist the Union flag and listen to an address by Beecher. But their holiday spirits on the return trip turned to horror at the sudden news of Lincoln's assassination. At the same moment, this same dire news had brought together an almost hysterical mob in Wall Street, and from the steps of the Sub-Treasury building, Garfield made his brief, inspired address that averted a threatened panic. The city's last respects to the martyred president were paid on April 24th, when the body, on its way to a final resting place in Springfield, Illinois, lay in state in the governor's room of the City Hall. On the following day, it was carried throughout the streets of the Hudson River Railroad Depot, escorted by a mourning cortege 5 miles long. It was with no feeling of triumph that New York City returned to the routine of peace.